I can only imagine that as you clicked on, downloaded, and tuned in to this episode today, you have to be wondering, okay, this is Ming talking about resilience. Done a few of these episodes, but it's called Supergirl Wisdom. Got to see where this is going. Hey, me too. This is just an observation from a guy. And really came from a discussion I had with a dear friend of mine. A nice lady. This lady who I've seen and experienced and lived through, and putting it casually and not even accurately, going through a lot of life shit. And certainly I have no qualifications or expertise in doling out advice or even honest suggestions for someone. And especially, I have no right or ability or authority to offer anything to a woman in terms of life advice. Especially when you consider and given my stellar accomplishments in the relationship and marriage department. For you women out there, and this nice lady I was talking with the other day can take my words on this with way less than a grain of salt, please. But here we go. If I can summarize my unsolicited, unrequested perspective to this lady the other day. Without going into the personal details on her current travels, travails, journey, disappointments, and just flat out hell. She has had the necessary developed skills to balance life, death, and living at the same time over a few decades. And with respect to her privacy, she, like you, and even myself, has seen a lot of tragedy, trauma, drama, neglect, personal and projected, disappointment, loss, despair, rejection, ignorance, attack, defense, health emergencies, death, new life, and a new day. This may be related to you directly or indirectly. Or it could be related to a friend or even to an enemy. And could it be connected to an enemy who became a friend or a friend who turned into an enemy? We probably have all seen or went through a lot of that kind of stuff. I kind of quickly summarize. But I did notice in this lady I was talking to, a very necessary and strong lady who had to serve her life and of her children and family as a multitasking human being. Side note, pardon me, but multitasking is not possible. However, she decided to become a master, efficient serial tasker by default with the absence of her life partner for many, many years and critical family members leaving her life early on. In saying that, this woman I'm sharing with you, that conversation, she had to become that superwoman that perhaps many of you ladies out there have had a similar set of situations or conditions in your life. I'm not here to discuss or assign who caused what in her life, who was at fault, who is to blame here. This is just from my humble, outside of her life, concern and observation from someone who has earned the trust on the subject of how a woman thinks or observes or works. However, I am definitely unqualified as a man to offer any womanly insight. But in this case, and only because I genuinely care for this lady, I only offer my limited knowledge but sincere suggestion. to let her Supergirl come out. Yes, I said it. I'm asking her to let her Supergirl come out from underneath that protective Superwoman cover and armor, to let that cry and scream and expression from the Supergirl out. Not necessarily in public, but hey, if you gotta, you gotta. To hell with them who might see or hear you for a moment as you do this. But maybe just try and get to a remote place to let it out. Or they say, to let that shit go. Let your playful and curious nature come forth with the courage to be strong. To show to yourself your strength, not to anyone else, to show to yourself your strength. And without the vanity or protection or of maybe display of raw emotion. Listen to your heart, Supergirl. Listen to your heart underneath what your head is distracting for you. This is just a limited man idea, exercise, and process to let your true self come out to play in the work you still have to do. That's all I got, ladies. I know it wasn't requested, and definitely it wasn't necessary for this guy from wherever I've come from to share this with you. But I'm asking you, ladies, stay resilient in your own way. Still, that comment I made to many other people in the 820 Enterprise. We all have this in common, not just from me to my fellow men and warriors out here, but also to you ladies as well. You Supergirls underneath that Superwoman armor. I know you need both of those. I know one protects the other. But maybe in my optimistic and sincere and genuine care for this lady, I see in those eyes, beneath that surface, beneath that protection layer of Superwoman, she has that wisdom of the Supergirl. But I get it. She has to remain protected. And maybe in some ethereal, collective way, we're offering that solace to her today. At least that's my intention. So, I hope it helps. If it doesn't, I understand. But at least consider the possibility that you all have that inside of you. Don't let it out without being protected, but show your strength. You all have it. You're all resilient. Stay present. Stay current. No matter where you are in this world, remember, it's always 820.